everyone. My name is Maria Wright, and I am a professor of education at Bakersfield College in California. And I'm also a proud member of the formerly Aspire Alliance regional collaboratives. And today I'm here to just share a little bit about our regional collaborative out of Central California, share some of the work that we embarked on through the years, and then also share some insights for those of you that aspire to establish your own regional collaboratives in the future. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen just to give you some info here. So right now what you're seeing is a picture of our current cohort from our fellows and our mentors in the program. And represented in this photo, we have candidates from Brown University, Texas AMU, California State University, Bakersfield, University of California, Merced, University of California, Santa Cruz, and then some of our amazing faculty from various disciplines, including biology, engineering, education, communication, public health, sociology, and an array of other participants here, including business. And so I just wanted to do a quick illustration of our cohort that we have right now. But then I want to jump to our next slide here, which has a bit of an overview. So our program started in the fall of 2020, and as we were gearing up for it, we would never have anticipated the impacts that COVID-19 would have on the program. So when we started the program, we were hoping our main partners here were UC Merced, which is the closest UC to our community college, and we had identified some folks who would be coming in person to our program, or our campus rather, to engage with their mentors. However, that changed because our campus shut down physically for to avoid the spread of COVID-19. So we transitioned quickly to a different system of having virtual engagement with our mentors and our mentees. So when we started, we were hoping to streamline the recruitment for onboarding and mentoring future faculty from historically underrepresented minority groups, racial minority groups in the disciplines of STEM. And the program hopes to get to engage graduate students who are hoping to teach at a two-year community college with a hands-on experience through the mentor and through the program, and learning more of the skill set that is necessary for successfully navigating this role. And so we invite our candidates to participate within the campus culture through campus committees, department meetings, and other potential opportunities for engagement. So since the inception of the program in the 2020 academic year, we've had a total of 106 program participants. This includes 65 faculty fellows and 41 faculty mentors. And to date, 80% or 52 are currently employed by a community college or another California State University in the state. Both the CCs and the CSUs are teaching institutions rather than research institutions, and that's really who our program is aimed for. And then the remaining 20% or 13 of them are working in private industry or have pursued another educational opportunity. And lastly, in the 23-24 academic year, our own institution, Bakersfield College, hired 8 full-time tenure track faculty, and of those, 38% were graduates from the previous cohort. So that was a huge success for us there. And next, I'm going to talk about some practices for diversifying the California Community College faculty pool. And the first one is building capacity, which is the development or exploration phase. And what I recommend here is to assess the campus needs and impact. So when we started, we we're looking specifically at some of our STEM disciplines because our local university, which is California State University, Bakersfield, did not have enough graduates coming through their graduate programs to fulfill the needs in our STEM disciplines. They have limited programs within the STEM disciplines and then not enough graduates that were coming through that were interested in teaching at the two-year community college. So that's why we partnered with UC Merced, which is the next institution that is closest to us that would have graduates that were ready to jump into this position and really get the most out of this mentorship opportunity. So we identified practices for hiring and onboarding new faculty, especially those from identified racial minorities, so that they wouldn't, so that they could develop a sense of belonging and avoid feeling disenfranchised. And then we also did a thorough evaluation of campus cultures as it pertains to the retention of faculty of color and other minority groups. So what practices were in place at the time to, again, avoid having intentional or unintentional barriers that would exclude or prevent faculty of color from being successful in their role. And then we also outlined resources that were necessary for implementation, included physical, human, and physical resources. And then phase 2 would be to advance the agenda. So that's the implementation. So we develop a cohesive and flexible implementation plan with the key players. So identifying who would need to be active in each phase of the implementation and rollout. We thought of potential barriers and developed a plan to address those potential barriers. We also identified our early adopters and faculty champions that would help move the effort forward within those STEM disciplines. And then we led through a collective impact lens so that everyone who was part of the implementation effort felt engaged and had an opportunity to provide feedback to improve the process. And then lastly, phase 3 would be to establish our legacy. And this is through the evaluation and program reframing. So we completed a formative program evaluation to address some of those barriers and some of the challenges we face within the first few years, and then also troubleshoot how to move forward in the coming years. This includes also some sustainability practice. We assess thematic feedback and collected from program participants to make changes to the program from an internal perspective. And then we identified changes to shape the program legacy. So what do we want to do moving forward? So this included looking at funding opportunities from both federal and state agencies, and then working with our leadership to identify practices for institutionalizing some of the costs associated with the program to keep the program going and successful. And so I also want to share here some of the challenges we've had. We have seen a lot of changes in our leadership team. We had we are part of a district with 3 colleges. So we had a new chancellor, a new president, new VPs. I mean, essentially about 70% of our leadership team has changed within the last 3 years. So having to re-educate some of our incoming leadership and having to understand their agenda and how the program fits into the agenda so that we're not losing momentum as we move forward, and then continuing to also engage our human resource department and keeping our faculty energized so that they don't become fatigued from the work that is involved with the program. And then part of that was also obviously some compensation and then professional development opportunities to incentivize the work that our mentors were doing. And then our fellows we worked closely with our partner institutions to ensure that the quality of the fellows that were coming through were vetted through both institutions. And then we also were able to secure funding to pay for 50% of tuition for one semester while they were involved in the program. And so that was also a way to bring in some top quality candidates into the program. Obviously, that may not be realistic for rollout for all institutions, but putting our fiscal resources to those three categories we found to be very effective. Thank you for your time, and I hope you've enjoyed this presentation and have learned some concepts that would help you to roll out your own regional collaborative.